Hello everybody and welcome. This is Husky 10. I am Jonathan Sparrow and we are going to be making an asteroid shooting game. This game will be really simple. We are going to use the sign behavior. We are also going to be using again the bounce behavior. So here we go. First thing you want to do is create a new project. I'm going to choose a new folder. Okay. I'm going to call it shooting game. Open it, select folder, and create blank empty game from scratch. Now, the first thing you want to do is create a new scene and rename it game. Double click it and there we have it. We have a scene. Right click, scene properties, and select the color. They're going to be black. I'm going to choose black to make it look like the sky. I'm also gonna add a new tile sprite, rename it border, and create. I'm gonna color this white to make it easier to see, so hit apply. And I'm gonna put it on the outside outline of the game. This will give what we want. We want the object to bounce off the edge. Let's create. Okay, so the point of the game is not really shooting in the traditional sense where you have a ship on the bottom, you move it left and right, and you press the space. No, we're going to use the mouse. First things first, check it. Make sure there's no outline. I'm gonna go to scene properties. I'm gonna go to game settings, global properties, and I'm gonna uncheck update resolution to fit screen, hit apply, and there you go. You have your game set up. Alright, now it's time to add a scope. So I went in the PowerPoint. You can use whatever level editor you want. You can use whatever image editor you want. I'm using PowerPoint, and I made this. This is our scope. You can make it look however you want. We're going to be replacing the cursor with this. So I'm going to create a new object, sprite, and import and create an image. I'm going to color it red, hit save and apply. I'm going to call it player. You can call it whatever you want. Some people call it cursor. Apply. Now you do not want to drag it onto the screen. Okay. You will see why when we get to coding. So go to game event. Go to the event of the scene. Hit add a new group. Label it player. going to add a new event. At the beginning of the scene. So add the condition at the beginning of the screen. Hit OK. Add an action. We are going to create an object. So click player, go down and find create an object. The X position is going to be mouse X parentheses and mouse Y parentheses. I hope I'm doing this right. So when you play it, it will appear wherever your mouse is. But we don't want that. We want it to follow the mouse. So I'm going to hit new event. We're not going to add a condition this time. We're going to add an action. Select your player. Go down to position. Hit equals. And we're going to do it again. Mouse X parentheses, close parentheses, equals, and mouse Y. Open and close parentheses. So let's see what we got. And we have a mouse that follows the screen. But if you haven't noticed, it's at the corner of the screen, and we do not want that. Your mouse cursor is at the corner of your sprite. We do not want that. So we're going to go back to our main game editor, select the player, hit edit points, zoom in. I'm going to make it bigger. There's this red cross up in the corner. We're going to move it to the center. And then hit close and apply. So now you're selecting the center. But there's still a problem. We're seeing the mouse. We're seeing the cursor. So go back to game events. In the top one where it says at the beginning of the screen, at the beginning of the scene, we want to add something. We want to hide the cursor. And then hit play. And we have this. But we don't have anything to shoot. So there are several routes we can take when creating something to shoot. We can create targets that move back and forth. We can create asteroids to shoot. We can create asteroids to avoid. So let's try some. So I'm going to add a new sprite, add animation. I'm going to edit, color it brown or this color. Save, rename it Asteroid. Now we're going to create the AI. So we're going to go to behaviors, edit behavior. We're going to search new behaviors and download sign or ellipsis, if I'm pronouncing that right. You want to select that and install, and then select it, hit apply, drag that onto the screen. And you have a moving target. But there's just one problem. We click it, it doesn't do anything. So go back to your game events, create a new group. Call this, I'm going to call it target. Add a new event at the beginning of the scene. Hopefully this works. It's been a while since I've done something like this. We're going to create we're not going to add at the beginning of the scene. We're going to add mouse clicked. When mouse button is pressed or held, the left mouse, hit OK. Now we're going to say add an action, select the asteroid, select create an object. Now you're going to type in caps lock R, caps lock, random. You're going to type in random. It has to be capitalized. And in here we're going to type 800. And the Y position, we're going to do the same thing. 600. And type in 600 this time. Hit OK. And when the mouse clicks it, we're going to delete it. So this thing, I know this is kind of touchy on which is in the beginning. So we're going to hit trigger once. We're going to type in trigger once, add that to our conditions. Let's see what happens. Okay, something's not right because one is off the screen. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research right here, double check something. I did the same thing in another project about a rabbit where it ate carrots. You collected the carrots and it would show up at a random position. I'm gonna open that file. Do not follow this until do not follow this. I'm just double checking. So everything's right. Oh. I'm going to see if this works. I'm retyping it in. I'm going to add another thing too, add a new event, and then in the actions add Asteroid, separate two objects with the border. Hit OK. Let's test it out. We still have the problem. It's trying to create multiples. Oh, it's probably because of the sign. So we're going to edit the behavior. Instead of it going to 100, we're going to say 60. This is trial and error. You can make this look however you wish. But what if we got rid of that behavior? Let's see what happens. So I got rid of the behavior. As you can tell, it's more smooth. It does have a problem. Occasionally it won't be visible on the screen. I have no idea how to fix that. You're gonna have to experiment. But we have an asteroid. Now, we could add another behavior. Let's see what happens. We're going to install bounce. And this time we're going to get rid of that. We're going to add at the beginning of the scene. Add a force angle. Negative, let's do negative 300 and 100 pixels. This we want to change, so we're going to say if the asteroid is in collision, in the conditions we're going to type if the asteroid is in collision, I can't spell, with border, we want it to bounce off. But for some reason it's not moving. Oh, we need a permanent force. It needs to be a permanent force. And we have an asteroid. But for some reason, it's not working. Again, you're gonna have to experiment. The problem is it's not, our problem is it's not okay, I solved it. So what I did was I added the asteroid to here. When left mouse down, delete asteroid, create asteroid position, and then add to Android a permanent force angle of negative 300 degrees by 100 pixels. I'm going to have to add in at the beginning of the screen condition. Copy the add force and put it in there. So now we have an asteroid that moves around. But let's see what happens if we add 2. So copy and paste it. Let's see. Okay, something's wrong. So I'm gonna delete it. This might be better as a touch game, so I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to say when mouse, so I'm going to say touch. the asteroid. And there we have a little game. If the asteroid touches your target pointer, it starts over. The reason was when we were clicking anywhere on the screen, it was leaving the asteroid, and we didn't want that. So this is going to be a mobile game. So now that we have that, it's time to add an enemy. So type in enemy. So add a new sprite. Call it enemy. Add an animation. I'm gonna color this red. No, I'm not gonna color that red. Hit save, hit apply. Now the enemy is going to be doing the same thing. It's going to be bouncing around. So let's add a new group. Call it enemy. Add a new event. You're going to say when the enemy is in collision with the border. Hang on, I'm gonna try one thing. So anyway, when the enemy is collision with border, we want it to bounce off the border. So we're going to add to it a permanent force. So at the beginning of the screen, at the beginning of the scene, add a permanent force to the enemy. I'm gonna say 400 this time, negative 400. And here we have it. Now that you have an enemy, we can copy and paste it and add more. We can add more asteroids, but there's a problem. I'm just gonna delete the other asteroid, but anyway, there is a problem where you run over the enemy and nothing happens. So I'm gonna say add new event. When the cursor is touching the enemy, I'm gonna say change scene, but we don't have a scene, so I'm gonna create a scene. I'm going to call it game over. And then I'm going to change the scene to game over. I'm also going to add a sound up here from my sound.library. I'm going to type in play sound. I'm going to add it. I'm going to go to my sound effects library. I'm going to choose click 1. Or I'm going to choose the hit. I'm going to choose a hit sound. I think I had this at 30. Now let's see what happens. See, I collide with the asteroids and it went to a new location. Now, there are several things we can do still. We still have to make a game over screen. And we should have to add a score. So, in the game over screen, I'm going to color it black. I'm going to add a title. Game over. I'm going to color it white. And the font, I don't know what font I'm going to use. You can download any font. I've downloaded a public domain font. Okay, I'm gonna add a button. I'm gonna press, since this is a mobile game, I'm gonna add text. I'm gonna say replay, color it white, change the font, and there we go. We have a game over screen, but it doesn't do anything. So, add a new event, type in touch. The cursor is touching an object, hit the replay button, and change the scene. Back to game mode, back to the game. Hit OK. Now we have but there's some stuff more stuff I want to add. But if you haven't noticed, the player's gonna want to exit the game and re-enter the game because something's wrong in here. So instead of choosing random 800, I'm gonna choose 500. Sometimes you gotta shorten it instead of using the whole screen. So I obviously need to shorten it. I always want to keep this one shorter than the main one, so let's see what happens now. Alright, this seems to be working a lot better. The points to collide with the UFO or asteroid or whatever you want. So now that we have it played, we're going to set a variable. Go to global variable, hit add, rename it to score, and set the score to 0. Now we are going to add a new group. I'm going to call this score and type in at the beginning of the scene we're going to set the score to 0. So type in go to other actions, go to variables, go to global variables, and then value of a global variable. The score will equal to 0. Hit OK. Now we are also going to copy that and add it to this one, to what happens when we collide with the asteroid. We're going to add 1. Hit add and type in 1. Now we're going to change the text. Nope, we don't want a group. So hit new condition. We are not going to add a condition, we're going to add an action. So add action. But there's a problem. We don't have our text, so we need to do that. Add a text, call it score. Now go back to the events and you're going to add the action, select score and hit modify text equals, and you're going to search for it this time. You're not going to type anything in here. You're going to click this, go down to variables, text of a global variable, score, select score, hit apply, hit OK. So now the score updates. And it resets. Now this is a nice little kind of relaxing game. Now I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna go over to our game over. I'm gonna go to our game, copy the score, go over to game over and hit paste. And paste your score there. Select it and add it. Now you're gonna copy the change text of the score to this. So add a new event, add the action, but this time we're gonna edit it. We're gonna write quotation mark score colon space quotation mark space and then plus, and it will display our score. We're gonna do the same thing over here. We're gonna add that quotation mark score add a plus, no wait, add a colon, space, quotation mark, space, and plus. Now hit play and we now have a score. And there you have it. We now have a working app. But there's still more to do. I'm gonna add a new enemy, add a new sprite, call it enemy 2, add an animation, and I'm gonna color this one dark blue. Save, and this time I'm gonna use that sin or sign movement. Hit apply, and I'm gonna drag it in at a random spot. I'm gonna up it to the length of it to be 300. Hit apply. Have a lot of fun with this. For instance, we can also change the Y position and make it go vertically by 400. Play around. That's what happens. Okay, and we have a new enemy. So we're gonna copy when player enemy 2, add a new event, add a condition of when the player is in collision with the enemy. Guys, I accidentally pressed escape and that canceled my recording, so I'm gonna make the rest short. I already made a menu. Here's what it looks like. Cursor, touch play, and the cursor slash touch is on play, which is this here, the title play. It will change the scene to the game. If you touch the quit button, it will quit the game. See, like, if I press play, here's the game. I added the quit button to the game over screen. I also added a little bit of how to play right there. But you can really do this however you want. You can add more levels, you can add different enemies. You can do quite a lot here. But I'm going to leave it at 1 level. Now it's time to do the next thing, which is the next step. We're going to change our art. So I'm going to import an art file I already have. This is for the scope. I'm going to make sure it's center. So close, hit apply. So this doesn't go above. I'm going to change the order to 0. so that way it's behind all the enemies and that. Now I'm gonna replace the asteroid. I'm gonna recolor it another color. I'm gonna draw an asteroid for the sake of this video. Something that kind of looks like a potato. Yeah, a potato. Hit apply. And now for the UFO, I'm going to add for the UFO, I'm just gonna draw something quick. I'm gonna color the UFO yellow. Now I'm gonna draw a quick UFO. It kind of looks like a sandwich. I am not an artist. I'm gonna color that black and hit save, hit apply. So now we have our game. We can, I know I've been trying to add more asteroids in here. But I keep having the problem where one of them would spawn on the outside of the map. But I don't see that happening yet, so I'm just going to leave this. And there you have it, an Android game. Here it is. Here it is. Now, there is some stuff I also want to add. I'm going to go to Beatbox, which is an online music maker. I'm going to select chip noise or chip wave, set it to custom, and make music. I know this music is gonna make your ears bleed. This music's probably making your ears bleed. So I'm going to export it. I'm going to call it add name after my game, Asteroid Blaster theme. Have it repeat, save it, and now main menu at the beginning of the scene. Hit OK, add an action, and we're going to click play music and add our song. We want it to repeat, and we're going to set the volume to 30. So let's see how that goes. That's actually not half bad, but it could be better. And here's our game. We have a complete working Android game. This will be my first Android game. See what I mean? The second asteroid doesn't like staying on the screen. You can add more to this if you want. There's not a whole lot I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna export it. So to do that, let's get out of the game. There's a button right next to where you go to the project settings. You're gonna click it and click Android. And you're going to package for Android. This will take a little bit, but you will get a completely playable game for Android. It takes a while, so until then I'm gonna go over something. Now, I mentioned sound effects. This is where I got them. JSFXR.me. It's a generator. I'm gonna get back. Now for your game. Oh, come on. Now, there's stuff you could do like. What it does is it generates music for you. Wait, it generates sound effects. So my game is still building. And this is where I get all my sound effects. There is another site I want to go to, but I don't remember the name of it for the life of me. What I would suggest is download all the sound effects you can. And be like me and have a huge library. I have 27 sounds for all of my games. So when this game is finished, I'm going to show you some gameplay, and then we will call the video over. So it exported for me, which is good. You can export it to many other operating systems, like you can do web, but this one I haven't had much luck with. You can do Windows, Linux, or Mac. So thank you all for watching. This is my game. This game will be available on itch.io, on itch.io, and the Husky 10 website. So thanks for watching. I would also like to say I am still working on making an introductory course or introduction video to game design. That will be up soon. I'm still doing the research on it. But thanks for watching and enjoy this little game.